Have you ever sent an email and had that little thought in the back of your mind, who else could be reading this? It's a valid concern, right? Well, today we're going to unpack a legendary piece of software that tackled that exact problem. It's called PGP, or Pretty Good Privacy. And really, it's all about putting digital security right back where it belongs, in your hands. And to kick things off, let's start with a really powerful question from the guy who created PGP, Philip Zimmermann. He said, if you really are a law-abiding citizen with nothing to hide, then why don't you always send your paper mail on postcards? I mean, just think about that for a second. It completely cuts to the heart of the matter, right? It just shatters that false idea that wanting privacy means you must have something to hide. And that postcard analogy, it is absolutely perfect. Because, a standard unencrypted email is exactly like a postcard. As it zips across the internet, anyone, and I mean anyone, from your network admin to a government agency, could potentially take a peek. PGP's entire mission, its whole reason for being, is to turn that wide-open postcard into a securely sealed envelope that nobody can get into. All right, so this digital envelope, what is it really? And how did it become such a game changer for personal privacy? Let's get to know the hero of our story here, PGP. So PGP, it stands for Pretty Good Privacy, and what it did was frankly revolutionary. It took what we call military-grade public key cryptography, this super powerful encryption that was mostly just for governments and huge corporations, and it gave that power to everyone. We're talking journalists, activists, and just regular folks like you and me. It was all about letting us take back control of our own privacy. So how does it actually work? Okay, so how does PGP pull this off? Well, it's not with some simple password that you and a friend share. Nope. The real magic lies in this incredibly clever system that uses not one, but two different keys that are mathematically tied together. And this is the absolute core concept, so lean in for this. It's called public key cryptography. Everyone gets two keys, a public key, which you can shout from the rooftops, and a secret key, which you guard with your life. The magic is what one key locks, only the other key can unlock. Think of it this way. Your public key is like a mailbox with a mail slot. Anyone can look up your address, that's your public key, and drop a message inside. But only you have the actual physical secret key to unlock that box and read the mail. And this process here just lays it out perfectly. So let's say Bob wants to send Alice a super secret message. First, he needs her public key, which she can post anywhere she wants. Then, he uses her public key to lock or encrypt the message. It just scrambles it into complete gibberish. He sends it off. Now here's the really cool part. Only Alice, with her one-of-a-kind secret key, can unlock it and turn it back into a readable message. Even Bob, the guy who wrote it, can't open it once it's locked. Okay, so the message is private. That's huge. Problem solved, right? Well, not quite. There's another really important challenge. How does Alice know that the message she just got is actually from Bob? What if it's an imposter? Yeah, what's stopping someone from sending a private message and just pretending to be Bob? This is a super critical question. See, privacy isn't enough on its own. We also need authenticity. We need to be sure who the sender is. And this is where the second piece of PGP's magic comes into play. It's called the digital signature. A digital signature is basically a unique, tamper-proof seal. It works by taking a cryptographic fingerprint of the message, and then, get this, you encrypt that fingerprint using your own secret key. This does two amazing things. First, it proves the message could only have come from you, because you're the only one with your secret key. And second, it guarantees the message hasn't been changed by even a single comma since you sent it. So let's just pause and make sure this is crystal clear, because these two concepts are basically mirror images of each other. To send a private message, you lock it with the recipient's public key. To prove a message is from you, you sign it with your own secret key. See the difference? One makes sure only the right person can read it. The other proves to everyone that you're the one who sent it. Privacy and authenticity, both crucial. All right, so this two-key system for privacy and authenticity, it sounds pretty much foolproof, doesn't it? But there's a huge potential problem lurking just beneath the surface. How do you know that the public key you're using is the real one? How do you really know that Alice's public key actually belongs to Alice? What if an imposter, let's call her Eve, swapped it out for her own fake key? This is the potential Achilles heel of the whole system. If Eve tricks you into using her fake key, she can read every single private message you think you're sending to Alice. That's called a man-in-the-middle attack, and it's a really serious threat. So how does PGP get around this? Well, instead of relying on some big central authority, like a bank or a government, to tell you who's who, PGP came up with this brilliant, decentralized social solution. It's called the Web of Trust. The idea is that users can vouch for each other. You can sign someone else's key with your own secret key. So if my friend David, who I trust, signs Alice's key, it's basically him saying, hey, I've met Alice in person, and I can confirm this key really is hers. It builds trust from the ground up through people you already know. And this quote just nails that philosophy. PGP is for people who prefer to pack their own parachutes. It's perfect, right? PGP doesn't hand you a list and say, trust these people. No way. It gives you the tools to build your own network of trust. You are in the driver's seat. You decide whose signatures you trust, which puts you right at the top of your own little security pyramid. Okay, let's zoom out and bring this all together. As you can probably tell by now, PGP isn't just a piece of software. It's a really powerful set of ideas about what privacy and trust mean in a digital world. So, at the end of the day, what are the key things you should walk away with? Okay, at its heart, PGP really stands on three main pillars. First, that two-key system, a public key for locking things and a secret key for unlocking. Simple. Second, the two superpowers it gives you, privacy to hide what you're saying and authenticity to prove who you are. And finally, that web of trust, a totally unique, user-driven way to figure out who's who without some big boss telling you. And that really brings us right back to where we started. PGP was created decades ago, but these core ideas about taking personal responsibility for our own digital lives, they're more relevant today than they have ever been. It leaves all of us with a final question to think about. In a world of routine digital surveillance, what does it really mean for you to pack your own parachute?